The future Clockman is undoubtedly one of the most powerful large agents in the Skibidi multiverse. With his broken time abilities and even having the DNA of the Sinister in him, you can tell he's definitely no joke. Well, you all know I'm joking, right? But have you ever wondered what would happen if he never existed in the Skibidi multiverse? You might think it would just have small effects due to the fact he didn't show too much on the series, but I'll tell you it's more deeper than that. Anyways, subscribe, like the video, and let's get to it. The origin of this super agent is somewhat controversial, as some people even think that the large Clockman and the future Clock are different characters. Well, you can actually think of it like his future self coming to help out in the past to stop some catastrophic events. It's almost like anytime there's about to be an avalanche, Bro steps in and saves everybody. So, imagine if he didn't exist. There are two ways to think about this. We can say if only his future self, that is the super agent, didn't exist, or the large Clockman, which is his base form, and the future Clock didn't exist altogether. So, I guess let's just take him off the series entirely. No large Clockman or future Clockman. Havoc is about to befall the Alliance. Episode 1 would continue as usual, but remember that the large Clockman saved the agents when they were in battle with the Skibidis by stopping time and buying them some time. But I guess since the Chief Clock is there, all these mutants would not stand a chance against his powers, so they'll definitely be okay. I mean, he could do something, but maybe just wanted the large Clock to do it, even saving him from an explosion. But this doesn't mean he can't fight those base toilets on his own, so they eventually clear out the episode. The Clock Titan comes in, gets infected, and the story continues as normal. I guess the Magnet Mutant would not see a little Clock agent to bully, as we saw how he was split into two by the Magnet Mutant. He'll just focus on defeating the Clock Titan, which would not turn out too well for him. And then after, the events continue to unfold. We saw that when the Alliance went for a rescue mission, the large Clockman was able to buy more time for the agents. We wouldn't get to see the epic slap from our POV to the toilet. Instead, the agents would have to battle their way through the toilets, which would even cause more casualties. But this won't stop the rescue mission from being successful. I guess you win some, you lose some. However, things would still continue on with more casualties, and we may even lose some of our POVs and have to switch to new ones. Yeah, it'll be that bad, as the Clock abilities really gave them an upper hand. But they'll still move on to more episodes. Now that the Camera Titan has been uninfected, they'll go on to many more Skibidi bases to clear out mutants. But there was a certain base or stronghold that things were not looking too well for them. And then the future Clockman came in and saved the day. But since, in this scenario, he doesn't exist, the Alliance would have to do it all on their own, which would cause even more casualties. But they should be able to survive these waves of toilets and mutants. The struggle between the Alliance and the toilets would continue with more episodes of fighting and battles, the Pennywise getting smoked and scientists retreating. But then, disaster would strike when the Clock base gets captured by SCP toilets. You see, in this episode, things were really rough for the Alliance, as they needed to buy more time with the agents. But we all know that the major agent that played a huge role in achieving this was the large Clockman. However, removing him from the story would have a significant effect, as the agents would have even more work to do. Eventually, they would not be able to hold up, as we saw that the threats were numerous and time was not on their side. So I guess the only way out of this is if the Clockwoman just focuses her attacks on the mutants at the clock tower to save it from blowing up. So, when it's about to count down to the final number, the Clockwoman would come in with her time gun and shoot at the tower, stopping time for the tower, hereby buying more time. But they have a problem, the Magnet Mutant, as the Skibidis came even more ready, so they'll have to deal with that. The mission would be able to go smoothly, but I believe they would be able to hold the base for the Titans to arrive. I guess we've started seeing the immense role that the large Clockman played in the series, saving multiple agents and reducing the casualty rate. However, the Menace Alpha would come in and ruin the party with her evil plan to take out the Clocks and dominate the Earth. But someone was able to know beforehand and keep plans in place to beat her. Yeah, the future Clockman. And if you remove an important character like this, you see that things would start to crumble. So, in the first instance, the Alliance would not know about any plan or any mysterious woman unless the Skibidis had a rat. But I guess not. Even if they find out about this plan, they'll still need their Clock Titan, and he's not yet available. So, when the Skibidis attack the drill base and Alpha's plan seems to be working, the Alliance would have to relocate out of the base to a secret base where they'll camp for the moment and strategize how to defeat this mysterious woman. But I guess this would eventually save the Clock Boss's life, as he would not get to fight against Alpha or try to hold the base. Instead, he would retreat with the rest. And and this should ultimately save the alarm clockman some of the trauma and PTSD he had to go through. Yeah, but even when they are in this secret base, they'll have to keep it as hidden as possible, because if the location of this base is out, then that would be instant GG. But when the Clock Titan gets back on his feet, they can go on the mission together and put an end to the tyranny of the Skibidis on the clock base. Eventually, they would find out about the G-Man apocalypse, and the Titans would move on to stop it from ever unleashing. But little did they know, the Skibidis have a plan for them. While in battle, the Clock Titan would get immobilized, which would prompt the other Titans to move on to stop the G-Man, leaving the clock behind. But they had a plan where the alarm clock would go in to disable the nukes while he's waiting for the signal. Unfortunately, the commander was able to spot that he was calm and then proceeded to approach him inside the time dome. But here, the future Clockman was able to help. But in the case where he didn't exist, I guess it would be GG for the alarm clock, as he'll have to retreat for his life. The Clock Titan would still remain immobilized for even longer, while the G-Man apocalypse would have been unleashed, and the other Titans would be in battle. The only hope for the Alliance would be the Clock Boss. But we didn't get to see his full strength or him even fighting. But I guess he should be even stronger, so he'll be able to fight against the commander while the alarm clockman disables the missile. Once the Clock Titan is free, he'll be ordered by the Clock Boss to move on to the base. Well, he'll have to make a tough decision: fight with the Clock Boss or go on to secure the fate of the entire Skibidi multiverse. But the boss would be able to convince him to go onto the base while he still stands his ground against the commander. But who would be able to tell him that Bethany is alive? I guess no one, right? So yeah, he'll be even more motivated to take revenge on the Alliance. But we don't know the power levels of the Clock Boss or if he'll be able to put down the commander. So let's just leave it that they had a standoff based on the fact the commander got exhausted escaping multiple times. As we saw, it had a significant effect on him. So yeah, he'll eventually retreat out of the battlefield. Meanwhile, when the Clock Titan gets to the Skibidis base, he'll be shocked to see that they have a massive moving fortress at their disposal, and the other Titans are moving blindly to attack. Eventually, the Titans would get obliterated by G-Man with his nuke-like blast, causing a huge mushroom cloud. But since their daddy is here, he'll be able to save their asses by reviving them. But we all know that the Sinister would be unleashed, and he'll be scared to death but would have to fight against him anyways. And he needed some help from the future Clockman to stand a chance against the Sinister. But he did most of taking the beating. So yeah, without the future Clockman, it would just increase, and the debate about him being the father of someone would not even surface. Well, in this scenario, the Sinister would not have a son after all. Poor Sinister. But I guess in the future of the series, the future Clockman still had many impacts on the development of the plot, and removing him might even cause more catastrophic events. But as for the Clock and the Sinister, well, we'll just have to wait to see what would happen to him. I hope it won't be fatal as I fear for him. We even saw how the Sinister dropped the head of a certain Clock Titan, maybe from another timeline. Or is it? Well, let's just hope that the daddy of the multiverse is fine. However, check out this video to see what would happen if only the Camera Titan existed in the Skibidi multiverse. Unique Clockman out!